Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode number 18 of the tNb Gaming Podcast here on YouTube. Thank you very much indeed for your company, wherever you are, wherever you may be, and whatever you have been doing. We hope all is well in your corner of the world. Plough on with this new episode, and 18. It's a great achievement so far. And we'd like to say once again thank you to everybody who stopped by and listened to us, whether they watch us live on the premiere on YouTube, whether they watch it throughout the week. Your support is much appreciated from all of us here, and we thank you very much for continuing to watch the podcast. And like I said, this does go live at 7 o'clock on a Sunday on YouTube. If you haven't popped in and done the live chat before, feel free to do so. Of course, if you are listening to this, you'd have missed it again. So there we go. Make sure you do that for episode number 19. Apologies this week from Sean at Retro Games Revived, Eddie at Rollercore, and Pete Fighter 2, who are unfortunately unavailable for this week's episode, but I'm pleased to say managed to twist the arm of a couple of my other buddies in tNb, Rob and Nath. So Gurnaldinho Plays. Rob, good evening to you.
Got stuck with more like, hello, good evening.
Stuck with. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Whether we're in the same room together, we might sort of agree with that. I don't know, but all this remote chatting stuff is rather good, isn't it?
Yes, not bad, but yes, hello.
Again, and to the other side, to give me his regular title here on the tNb Gaming Podcast, the sexiest man on YouTube. It's NathRetro1. Hello,
Good
Nath.
evening. Glad to be back. No arm twisting required.
No arm, Chris. No, you were very quick on the uptake this week, weren't you?
Oh, the check was enough.
Has it bounced yet? Because if it hasn't,
I better check.
Yeah, I've got.
I was attached to a brick, so.
Yes, well, yeah. I wouldn't put too much guarantee on it clearing, I must be honest with you, but there we go. Hope you're both well this week. Everything okay with you both?
Yeah, good, thank you. Got some time off finally. Thank God.
Soldiering on with all the time off that I'm continually having.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, Nath mentioned. I mean, I'm halfway through my first week off for some time as well. It's been very, very enjoyable. Also very frustrating at the same time, but we'll get to that a bit later on.
I've worked out that I haven't worked for over a third of the year now.
Has it been as long as that?
Yeah, March the 21st.
Was that the Saturday? Was it?
I can't remember that far back.
Those people at home with a calendar close by will actually sort of sit down and work that out. But yeah, cripes.
I want to work. I really do.
Not that it'll make you feel better, but some of the people I work with, or use the term loosely, probably haven't worked for that long either, Rob.
Yeah, it's a bit much.
Well, you mentioned it before, and we all are keeping our fingers crossed, mate, that things do improve for you. And none of us like to see anybody suffering at the moment. And if things are hard enough as it is without people being off work still, and we'll all send you our best wishes, and we hope things sort of pick up very, very soon for you.
Cool, thank you.
That's no problem, mate. It's no problem at all. Probably starts crying and sort of getting all emotional about it. What we tend to do on this podcast, if you've not listened to us before, and if not, why not? We discuss what we've been playing in terms of games during the week, and then we sort of move on to a bit of a discussion. Sometimes it's a sort of general topic. In other cases, like last week and this week, we're just going to sort of go through bits and pieces we've been up to, things that sort of caught our attention, things that sort of sprung to mind, and we'll have a bit of a chinwag about that, and then we'll go through until we sort of basically flog that dead horse, and then we'll disappear for another week. So I always like to kick off with what people have been playing, and Rob, I always start with you when you're on. What have you been up to since we last spoke to you?
Well, not as much as usual. I think I might have touched on the fact I was playing Need for Speed: The Rivals last week. I may have mentioned I wasn't enjoying it, and I still didn't enjoy it. But I played it for a bit more just to get a few more achievements out of it. It's a shame because I really did enjoy Payback, but I'm done with it now. They just, they didn't nail it. It pretty much works on the same principle as Hot Pursuit, where you can be the police or the racers. And it's no fun being the police for too long, and then when you are the racers, you instantly have heat on you as soon as you drive to the next event or whatever.
It's never any fun.
The police are after you straight away.
It's never any fun being the police. As the police themselves, they will tell you it's no fun being them. But especially at the moment, we've spoken on the pre-show about this Need for Speed game. You said Rivals, isn't it? This one.
Yeah, the Rivals.
Yeah, because you asked me about that, and no, you were talking about Payback last week.
Yeah.
So when you said to me, I talked about Rivals, and I said, yes, you did. Well, you didn't.
Oh, right, okay. I couldn't quite remember. I was going to say, when you play a lot of Need for Speed and you play 2 back for back, you forget where the line is where you stop playing one and played the other. But yeah, no, Payback's good. Payback was a decent game, but yeah, the Rivals, no, it just didn't work. I didn't like it. But
I like Need for Speed games. I mean, I did like Hot Pursuit. Hot Pursuit's one of my favourite games for PlayStation 3.
Yeah, it's touted as one of the best. A lot when people talk about the best Need for Speed games, Hot Pursuit gets brought up a lot. For me, it is Need for Speed Most Wanted 05, and unfortunately, you have to chuck the year in because I know they like to reuse the name on some Need for Speeds. You know, example Shift and Shift 2. Underground and Underground 2, but with Most Wanted, they just decided to forget putting numbers in. So you have to sort of mention the year they were released. So there's Need for Speed Most Wanted 05 and Need for Speed Most Wanted 12 or 2012.
Yeah, and 05's the expensive one, isn't it? That tends to.
Yeah, well, it's expensive on the 360. It's like a 20 to £25 game, but on the PS2, as I actually managed to pick a copy up this week in a charity shop, was it's only £4 in CX. So yeah, it depends on what console you have it on. But yeah, on the 360 it is pricey. But it's one of the best. It's honestly, it's a little bit on the arcadey side, very fast paced, and yeah, very easy to understand in comparison.
Anything else you've been playing this week?
Pretty much just what I've been streaming on YouTube. I chose to use the anniversary collection of Street Fighter again and focus on playing a bit of Street Fighter Alpha 2, as I've not streamed that one yet. And you know me, I love Street Fighter. So yeah, so Alpha 2 is, in my eyes, the best in the Alpha series. You know, not that Alpha 1 and Alpha 3 are bad games, but Alpha 2 just has a bigger roster, and I just didn't like the mechanics in Alpha 3 as much, where you have to pick like an ism between X, S, and what's the other one? V, I think.
Yeah.
And I didn't like all that. It was just a bit much, and yeah, for me, Alpha 2 was the one of the alphas. So
I'll stop by once you play that for a bit, because people know I'm not a big Street Fighter 2 fan, or even Street Fighter anything fan. But yeah, you seem to know what you're doing, and it's quite enjoyable.
If you have your main, as we call it in the fighting world, you know, if you play a game regularly enough, you sort of either gravitate or decide to who works best for you and play as them. So yeah, we call it your main, and obviously Ryu is mine. So if you know the moves and you know what to do, and obviously a lot of games is just playing it regularly and knowing what the character you're up against can do and is likely to do. Because after I finished Alpha 2, I went back to Champ Edition, which I kind of know like the back of my hand. So if I beat Ryu in that, I just know every matchup, and you know which ones are going to be the ball ache and how to get past those ones with the ball ache. You know, increasing your odds. The one that always gives me the most grief is Blanca. I know Nath has a lovely affiliation with playing Vega, but Vega to me is no problem. Blanca is always my problem, especially if he's one of the obviously you're up against the first 8, and the later they appear in that order of 8, obviously the more difficult they are. So for me, I would prefer to have Blanca in the first one, but first 4 is what I was going to say. But yeah, so when his opponent's 7 or 8 out of 8, he's a pain in the rear end to me. Just a little bit erratic, and he jumps so high as well.
I will say, watching your stream the other night, that quite possibly the most useless character in Street Fighter history ever is Zangief.
He is an alpha, yeah.
Well, I mean, because I think the 2 or 3 times that you fought him, I was sitting there watching you. I think he laid a blue finger on you.
Yeah.
I thought, Christ, even I could probably beat him.
Yeah, he's a bit of a sponge to attacks. I'll be honest with you.
Yeah, but it just seemed to be annihilating him in the corner. So that's on Tuesday. That was on Tuesday night, wasn't it? In your regular Tuesday night streaming slot.
Tuesday night tussle, I call it. Yes, our fighting game. And then I'm
glad you called it that rather than say Tuesday night tug, which could be something completely different. But there we go.
Oh dear, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go there.
No, I was just going to say, obviously, I stream twice a week, and I've had to stream an hour earlier than I planned to, for my commitment to the cause of this podcast, on what I do call Football Friday, and today I finally, because the Dreamcast is an absolute bugger to get hooks up and stream, and I actually managed on the Elgato software, and I've actually managed to get a way to do it. So with the excitement, I've streamed my my beloved. I know it's not the greatest football game with its awkward mechanics and players that turn like tanks and take forever to shoot sometimes, Virtua Striker 2, but I just love it. I don't, well, I do know why, but, I shouldn't, basically. It's just, the goals you can score in it are insane. They really are. They look spectacular. And the one thing I always say about it is they've nailed the replays. When you score a goal, they show you 3 angles, and it's just the best angles ever as well. It's just beautiful to watch a goal after you've scored it.
Was that the one you're playing as the Netherlands the other day as well?
Yes, I actually did a playthrough on the channel and uploaded it as a separate video. But yes, the Netherlands I like being because they've got a very offensive formation. I think they're I think they might actually be the only team in the game to have a 3-4-3 formation.
I don't think it's that offensive. I think some people find it very agreeable.
Oh God, here we go.
I'm offended.
Yes,
there's the dad jokes again.
What dad jokes? I mean, you know how old I am. I mean, quite frankly, the door was
offended.
Yeah, no, I'm not offended. Yeah.
It's catching.
Look, you left the door open. I walked in. There we go. Yeah.
But yes, it's always fun.
Yeah.
I was gonna say it's not a great game. I know it, but to me it is.
But then again, you wouldn't be the first person to say, play a game which isn't a great game, but absolutely just for some reason love it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure every game, even some of the bad ones, are loved by somebody. There's somebody out there who no doubt loves playing Shaq Fu and loves playing, I don't know,
Spice World,
Spice World, Big Rigs Off the Road Racing.
Yeah,
which is the worst game ever.
I've seen gameplays of that. Yeah, it's not particularly good. Is it
what
really?
The fact you go to drive over a bridge and it's not there, so you just fall through the floor, drive under the bridge and back up again.
Yeah,
and you actually drive quicker in reverse than you do forwards.
Quality programming, that. I just wonder how they ever actually got released, but then again, I don't really want to know. To be honest with you, yeah. I mean, somebody somewhere must have play tested that. Well, you'd have thought so, wouldn't you? I don't know.
Driver 3 can get released, and that can get released.
Careful.
Driver 3.
Driver 3, which will give it alphabetical ordering a real nightmare on that one.
Gives everyone nightmares.
Do you mean Drift 3?
Drift 3.
That's how the cool kids do it, isn't it? It's like French Connection UK. So.
Yeah.
But it's still not as bad as was it Right to Hell Retribution?
No, that's
another broken mess.
That's a game I still haven't got round to finding yet, but I'm hoping to track it down because it's meant to be that bad.
Your lack of being able to find it is probably a blessing.
No, I
mind you, I said this the other day. I was actually saying that. Well, I've already included it in a video, but I'm gonna play it at some point, and I picked it up because I heard it's one of the worst games ever in the world. But it's something about that endears me to wanting to play it, and that is Little Britain, the game on the PS2.
Exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I have to play it, even though I know it's bad. I've even seen footage of it. I know what I'm going to be in for, but I have to play it.
Especially with all the controversy around that now, anyway, and various things which were done in that program, which I can't quite believe, even in the last 15, 20 years, people are still getting away with. But I think as a sort of sign of solidarity, they should take their game off the shelves and burn all the copies of it.
Yes, apparently they should.
They should do.
But I've got my hands on a copy.
The roof and then robbery on a gold mine.
Yeah, you never know. With it being pulled everywhere, it might suddenly become a little bit more valuable because.
Well, what happens though, isn't it?
But this is the thing when they pulled those episodes off all the streaming services.
The DVD prices.
The DVD prices went up, and it was the most popular sale, the DVD category at Amazon.
Which one? Well, Little Britain.
Yeah, Little Britain.
Yeah. When I pulled it off Netflix, the prices on eBay rocketed.
Yeah. And so the Amazon sales push it right to the top of the charts as well.
It's dropped back
Put down
down
the
again,
remotes
but
and picked up their phones. Jesus.
I'm outraged. I must buy this. Why are you buying that? I have absolutely no idea, but I'm outraged.
I'm outraged it's been taken off because of outrage, so I now have to buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm outraged by that. Nobody's happy anymore.
Outraged because it was crap. It's crap then, and it is crap now. So anything else, Rob, at all? Or is
no,
that
I was
it
going
this
to say, I
week?
think it's been a quiet week for me gaming wise, so I think that's it. I've been watching a lot of telly for a change, watching some of the football and some of the darts and even a film. So I've had a little bit of a more of a break from gaming. But
What film did you watch?
what did I watch? Mortal Kombat.
Oh yeah,
I had a break from gaming and I've watched a gaming
You
film.
watched a gaming film, yeah. I'm
But-
glad you said Mortal Kombat when you paused, and I thought it could be something completely different.
No. It's my sudden
Lowering the tone,
realisation that I
Bear.
said I'd had a week off gaming. I was like, oh, for God's sake, it's a gaming film. But yes,
Christopher
yeah.
Lambert as the worst Raiden ever.
I mean, it's a cheesy film, but it's one of those that you like because it's bad. So it's take it or leave it, isn't it?
I think I'll leave it. Yeah.
Got to watch it just for the song, really, haven't you?
Oh, the song's awesome, mate.
Exactly. That's the whole point. You got to watch it just for the song.
What song's
Love
that?
the song.
I mean,
Yeah,
song
what is the
It's a
song,
Mortal
Dave?
Kombat
Sing
song.
up.
They just shout Mortal Kombat to like a techno chance, don't they? That's pretty much it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm sure Bear can just overdub it to play in the back of the whole podcast. Throughout
Yeah,
the whole hour and a half.
I'm not sure I want to waste valuable seconds tracking that piece of music down, to be honest with you.
I'll send you the link later.
No.
Done.
Thank you very much. Yeah, but we'll see. We'll hear the end result when this goes out, shall we? I wouldn't hold your breath though. Nath, what have you been playing this week?
Not an awful lot. I mean, it's been a couple of weeks since I've been on, so I was trying to think back what I have actually played over the last couple of weeks. I played Sonic Adventure 2 on the Dreamcast. First time in about... Oh, God. I'm talking about like 15 years or maybe longer than that. Since the Dreamcast was in its heyday. So, yeah, some time ago. Probably about... Oh, Rob.
You there?
Oh, I'm here.
Yep.
2002?
Dreamcast.
What, Sonic Adventure 2?
Yeah, I'm trying to think what it was. It was either 2001 or 2002. So, years. Anyway, it's a bit by the by, but God, I got some real motion sickness playing that. Trying to play the second level as Knuckles, you just jump up and fly around. You've got this big turbine in the middle that kind of pushes you up.
Right.
Glide from side to side. The camera angles at the end of it, I was just like, they'll lay down for a bit. That was ridiculous. The first level was quite good. So you kind of slide down these roads in kind of a San Francisco kind of style thing and kind of avoid cars and pick up rings and have to do it as quick as possible. That was quite a cool level, actually. I really enjoyed that, but the controls take some getting used to. But yeah, really enjoyed that. I was getting used to that. So I played a bit on that. What else have I played? I've been playing on the Mega CD a little bit more.
Now this is we mentioned Mega CD before.
I have, yes. I've been enjoying the Mega CD actually. I've been playing some of the games I haven't before. A lot of them are kind of video-based games. So there are some games that they upscaled from Mega Drive. So it's obvious it didn't sell well, and a lot of the games that they just took from Mega Drive and just put soundtrack on just made them a little bit better. But what did I play on that? I played a game called Wonder Dog.
Oh, I've heard of Wonder Dog.
Have you heard of it?
Yes.
It's quite bizarre. I mean, the graphics on it are really nice. It looks a little bit kind of eagerish, I want to say, but I don't really get it. You're just a dog with some kind of like special ears that can make you fly a little bit, or at least hover. Fire stars at like bunny rabbits and things like that to kill them, and
You said
other
it's quite
animals in the forest.
You said it's quite Amiga-like, didn't you?
Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
the graphics look a bit Amiga-like. That's where I think I'm getting it from.
Yeah, I remember from just trying to think, going back, and I've just checked on Google now, and it was actually released on the Amiga.
It was. I was going to say, if it wasn't, then I'd be very surprised because it looks like it should have been.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Look, just watching a quick play of it now. And yeah, that's exactly. I knew I remembered it from when it first came out.
Yeah, but I played a little bit of that. I played a bit of a game called Flink, which is a Mega Drive game that was booted over to the Mega CD, where you Flink. Flink.
Right. Yeah.
Where I think you're some kind of little wizard, and I think get potions off kind of jumping on doors and things. You can pick up them and kind of spin them around and throw them off in the distance, and same with treasure chests and things like that. But quite an interesting platformer. I haven't really got to grips with the mechanics of it, but did enjoy playing that for some time. I revisited Batman Returns on the Mega CD.
Oh yes, yeah.
Which is a lot of fun actually in the car driving levels, and I did manage to get past the fire engine this time. Finally, after a number of goes. And then I went back to the nauseating world of flying around in Nights, which also absolutely rubbish at, but seem to be picking games that just camera angles are just like setting my kind of nausea off at the moment. But
what were you playing that on?
Nights. Oh, that's on the Sega Saturn.
On the Saturn, yeah. I thought it might, yeah.
Your favourite console, yeah.
Yeah, that blood Saturn. two thumbs up. Yeah.
It's a beautiful looking game. I'm absolutely rubbish at it, but it's really good with 3D control. I just don't really know what I'm doing, to be fair, so I just need to put some more time into it.
That might help you. You might get on with it.
As with a lot of games, it's just, I get to a point and I'm like, I'm too old to older games. I don't have the kind of dexterity used to, or the kind of brain to calculate the moves I'm going to try and do.
Too old at your age. Oh, that's ridiculous. I know. Anything else, or is that it this week?
Pretty much it. I've been doing some shmups in between. What did I play? I think I played a bit of
shmups. We don't call them shmups on this program.
Call them shmups.
Shoot 'em ups. Never called them shmups in my entire life.
They are called shmups. It's just that you don't call them shmups.
Yeah, I choose not to.
I suppose you are the host.
Fly in the face of public opinion.
I've been playing a shoot them up.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yes.
It's called Battle Garaga, or Garaga. I don't know how you pronounce that. But that's quite a lot of fun. That's kind of, I think, in the style of 1942 style game, but it's a bit more industrial, and you get a choice of planes, but have bullets coming at you, and it's a bit of a bullet hell game, but you can't really see the bullets particularly well. They don't stand out, so
a bit more industrial. That's an interesting way of describing it. How are we describing it?
Well, 1942 is more in the clouds, really, isn't it? You've got a cloud background. This is kind of more, you're closer to the ground. There's tanks and things firing up at you. So
I think what you're trying to say, 1942 was actually set at sea.
At sea, was it?
Yeah, Battle of Midway, 1942. Yeah.
Including the title.
The shooting game.
Includes the title. Yeah. Your homework for next time you're on is to go back and find out what the Battle of Midway was and what 1942 relates to, and work out the significance of what it was.
All right.
Sorry.
On that note, Bill.
Yeah. I'm looking at it now. That's pretty cool, actually. I'll play that next. That'll be next week's game. Right, so you're flying over tanks and other things like that, shooting down, and you can't see the bullets, so that's just like, I'm dead, and wonder what shot me. I have no idea. But I've been enjoying ups recently. So shoot them up.
Shoot them ups. Yes, that's it.
Give them their full elongated title.
Full podcast title, as I refer to.
Shoot them up special. Sorry, Rob.
I was just saying, on that note, save Nathan's embarrassment, but you carried on going.
Just keep digging, mate. It's going to come out the end, doesn't it?
What have you been playing, Bear? Please tell us it's Spice World. We're waiting.
No, but I'm hoping to actually give that a go this week. So I've got a few things I want to sort out and record for gameplay, and I know people have asked for it, namely you two. So
mainly me every week.
You every week, yes, yeah. Okay, I'm just trying to pass some of the blame to Nathan there as well at the same time. I was surprised actually how many people have actually done a playthrough on that video on YouTube. It's amazing. A lot of people. Yeah, a lot of people have played it through. A lot of people have done videos like that over the years. Zombie Bob did one. Oh, about a year ago.
And you're his only view on it.
Yes. It's sort of. I must get that game. No, so I've been obviously I mentioned last week I picked up that Wii off eBay, which turned out to be going to have a laser problem. Didn't have a laser problem. It was sort of loaded with all sort of N64 and Super Nintendo and NES classics. So I've been sort of giving that a bit of a go this week. So I've been playing Donkey Kong Country. Yes.
Which one?
Yeah.
The first one.
Ah, great game.
Yeah, I'm amazed when you realise how rusty you are when you played it for ages. Because I was, basically sucking big time on it, and then you just sort of like hit a nice little groove, and everything sort of goes out really well. And then you get to one bit where you just sort of like lose a life, and then you start lives regularly, and then you get really fed up with it, and then you just put it away. But I still think it's a basic sort of platform, but at the time it was completely sort of graphics that were on there. It sort of brought Donkey Kong back in from the cold.
I remember it getting released actually.
I was to say for its time, it was ahead of it, really, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was gorgeous. I mean, the reviews that came out for it, didn't have a SNES at the time, but I looked at that and I was like, that looks amazing. Just the kind of shadows of it and the background graphics, it looked better than anything else I'd ever seen at the time.
It was almost like sort of claymation graphics, but it wasn't. You get that sort of feeling from the depth to it. The underwater, going underwater and sitting on that swordfish. It's just little things like that, and the whole presentation of it, the introduction, and little cutscenes in between. But yeah, once you get to a certain point, you start sort of dropping lives, and you get a bit frustrated with it. So I can see. I mean, I haven't played them yet, which are the updates on the Wii and the Wii U, but I can imagine it's going to be very much the same sort of thing. How Donkey Kong Country Returns is probably more brutal than Tropical Freeze. Say, Nath, have you played them both?
I have played them both, actually. I finished Tropical Freeze. Tropical Freeze kind of pulled me in more, and it pulled me in because the graphics were just so beautiful. You would have levels where very kind of like Brazil, there's lots of colours, lots of things flashing going along. Have some where it's just black and white and red.
Yeah.
And those are the only three colours and silhouetted, and there's just a lot of, considering it's a 2D game as well, really, there's a lot of depth in it with like background things and hidden parts, and the music of it really makes those games. Even the first Donkey Kong, you said, like the music for Donkey Kong 1, I will still go back and listen to today.
Yeah.
FYI, the second one I think is still the best Donkey Kong Country on the SNES. Really hit its stride. I think it went a bit wrong with 3, but I'd certainly recommend giving that a bash if you're not that keen on Donkey Kong 1.
Well, I've got 2
on first.
So I've got 2 and 3 on that Wii anyway. So
yeah.
I'll be giving it at one point. But I've got the original. I've got an original copy of Donkey Kong Country cartridge only. So played it previously, but I was a bit rusty on that one. Then I moved on to playing Turtles in Time.
Oh, awesome!
Now I think I've also played off emulation Hyperstone Heist as well. They were probably the closest games we got to the Turtles arcade. It was the first thing when I played both of those games. I played Turtles in Time before now anyway, and it sort of struck me as this had elements of that original arcade game. Some of the levels were very, very similar, and I thought, I don't usually play this sort of game very often. I'm not usually not very good at it, so I had a go, and I got all the way through until I think about halfway through or near the very end of the third level without credit up, which I thought was quite good for me. I was the one with the stick. Who's the one with the stick? Donatello?
Donatello, yes.
Yeah, so they just didn't interest me at the time, the Turtles, but...
the stick? Yeah. You mean the bow staff, yeah?
But the what? That's a dog. It's a dog, isn't it? The bow staff. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I really got into it, and I thought, yeah, she's really quite good, so... Got a little touch of humour in there that were sort of in the arcade game. Well, I know it's not the same game, but I really enjoyed it. It just reminded me of playing it all, even falling down the bloody manholes again. Because obviously the manholes in the arcade game were there. Was a manhole on, I think, on the first level. I managed to fall down it, or the second level, I can't remember anyway. But those little robots there that sort of come on the wheels and they sort of shoot the lassos at you. They're in that as well, and they're on the arcade game, aren't they?
Yeah. They electrocute you.
That's it.
They get really annoying after a while.
They do. They did annoy me. But I enjoy playing it, and I will probably go back and give that another whirl. But once I sort of used up my lives, that was it. I didn't carry on with the credits. I could have done so, but didn't really want to do it. And then 2 games I've been playing because I've been on a bit of a Mario Kart binge at the moment. I never thought those words. I thought I'd never hear come out of my mouth in the same sentence all at once. Mario Kart 64, which I hadn't played for a very, very long time. I must be honest, I didn't like it as much as I used to. I'm not sure why.
I'm going to let you say first because I don't think I ever played it on the 64 when it first came around. I think Mario Kart 64 is one of the ones I missed, so I went straight from the SNES.
Yeah. Well,
Double Dash.
Yeah, Double Dash. Yeah,
Double Dash was a bit poor by rights anyway. And then it came out on the... Well, it wasn't bad, but there was just a real limit on the levels you could play, especially with the multiplayer ones. But then when it came out on the Wii, it was just another level. And ever since then, it's been like, we'll keep all the levels and we'll just add another 10 or 20 more. But yeah, I didn't really like it on the N64. I didn't find it...
I don't...
N64 fans.
I don't. Yes, they're dwindling by the second, but
Dave will agree with me.
But I don't know why I didn't like it, and I don't know. For some reason, I found 50cc was more of a challenge to win convincingly. 100cc was. I think I played through all the 50cc tracks, and didn't. Or I won them all, but I wasn't sort of like miles out in front. And then when I got the 100cc one, which is far, far more competitive, I actually found I was winning those by bigger margins. But, you'd have to sort of work really hard at it. And then I played the game which has probably dogged me for all eternity, and that's the original Mario Kart. And I still hate that. And I still hate that game. I still hate that game with an absolute passion. I don't know what it is that game has it in for me. There is recorded footage of it. It'll be going up on YouTube for probably the next couple of weeks or so.
Swearing.
Well, if I recorded my sort of thoughts at the time I was playing it, then yes, there would have been a lot of swear words coming out. I think even Mrs. Bear had to close the door downstairs because of the language that was coming down from upstairs. But I don't know. I've never liked that game, and having played it again on a completely different system, same system before, not a cartridge or anything like that. It's completely different setup altogether. It still found amazing ways to really sort of cheese me off, and things just happened to me on that game. I was so far ahead in one level. I think it was one of the ghost levels, wooden platform which has got no side around it. Very easy to fall off the side, and I was so far out in front, I completely lost my bearings and drove off the side of the track, and ended up finishing 5th. And I thought, this game has really got it in for me, hasn't it? Nothing to do with my crap games playing or anything like that. I'm much happier playing the game, but it just does things to me, that game, that nothing else can do. I think I'd get less hassle if I played Street Fighter 2.
You should play Street Fighter 2.
I can't play Street Fighter 2.
You need to learn.
I get to Vega and I just rage quit.
I'd be using punch kick. That's all I'd be able to do. Which is ironic.
Not really.
Yeah, but like basic punch kick, that would be no special moves or anything like that. A lot of jumping around and getting hit. Basically, punch kick was exactly what I want to do after playing Mario Kart for half an hour. So, but I still think it's my least favourite Mario Kart game by a long stretch. And I think I said before, as it's got this has gone over time. I know some people say it's got worse. I would probably say it's got better for me. I don't mind playing the more up-to-date versions of it now, but that first one, yeah, that's going to haunt me to my grave, that is, whenever that is. I don't know. But yeah, that's all I've had time to play for this week. That's those 4 games, so, which is about the same as last week, I think. I'm getting through quite a few, but then again, I'm having a bit more time on my hands to do it, so... yeah, but let us know what you've been playing this week. If you've been playing any of those games or playing those games recently, do drop us a line in the comments. It's always nice to hear from you. Also, just remind you as well, if you are enjoying the podcast, don't forget to like and share the video around. We'd like to get as many viewers in as possible. And also, don't forget to check out the links to the guys' channels below. And also, if you are enjoying TheRetroBear, which is my channel, don't forget to drop a comment or a subscription there as well. It's always gratefully appreciated. So last week we had a bit of a sort of a freestyle. Let's have a wing it, I think was the key word we're trying to sort of use earlier on today, about what we've been up to last week. And we're going to do much of the same again this week, really, because we haven't really had much chance to sort of play games, but it's always good to get the lads in and have a bit of discussion about sort of various topics and things that have been coming up. Nath, I know you've been sort of... This will appeal to quite a lot of people, and because we all have the same sort of situation. It is about sort of games rooms, and I know you said earlier you've been sort of doing a few renovations or sort of remodelling your gaming cupboard.
Yeah, so I've got to the point where I was running out of space quite rapidly, and I was like, shelves up, I need to just fill my walls up. So I've just been trying to make some kind of custom designs on shelves to actually store stuff and organise it in a way where I can find stuff, because you're never happy with it really when you have a game room. There's always kind of something that just doesn't fit. Like you have a special edition box, you're like, oh, that's really nice, I really like that game room. When you get it, it's like, where the hell am I going to put it?
Where are you going to put it? Yeah,
ridiculous thing. It's same reason I haven't got Steel Battalion ever, and I probably will never get it. Well, like, where am I going to get it?
Well, that's it. I keep sort of seeing that pop up on eBay. Stupidly priced. I'm never going to pay that. But the first thing I'll sort of say is, no point even looking at it because I've got nowhere to put it. Where would you put a giant box like that? Nowhere.
Make a nice ottoman or like a footstool or something. But this is the problem with stuff that you have that kind of fit in nicely in shelves if you have like these special editions. I mean, like I've had measured, like you always measure your shelves, like you want to be as exact as possible, like fit as many on there. And I've just finished fitting the wee special edition boxes, or at least the smaller ones. Bigger ones are just like a couple of millimeters out. It's like, for God's sake.
Well, so, that's what I do with mine, because I mean, people have seen mine in the background on the video. Yeah. Everything here was sort of measured, and it's still not quite right because there are some shelves which are slightly bigger than the other ones. It's like why did you how's that managed to happen? How I managed to measure those completely wrong, get the wrong sizes in. But also, so people have sort of commented on why the fact that my games are sort of like laid on, sideways rather than the typical on end. And my argument to that is you can get more on a shelf that way.
Yep.
And nobody else seems to do it, just me. But
they look better stood up, really, doesn't it?
Well, they do look. I don't argue with that. They do look better stood up, but when you sort of come into space, it works a little better on that one.
To be honest with you, I had noticed, but I never really questioned it because even though they're on the side, they seem to fit perfectly on yours. I know that if I started laying mine on the side in the sections, then you could have some laying on their side, but there'd be a gap next to them, which you couldn't lay any more on the side next to before there's a little bit of a wood in the way. So you'd have to have some on this side and some upright. So it doesn't work, but on your shelving it just seems to work.
Well, it does to an extent. On the Wii, the Wii shelf you can see in the video, and the PlayStation 2 one you can't. If you actually look on the very far side to where I sit to my left as you're looking at me, there are some stood on the end because there's a gap there, and that's because when I built them, the idea was they would sort of stand normal way up, bottom. But then I realised that when I started collecting more games, that I thought I'm going to run out of space rapidly here. So you then have to sort of bodge what you've got. I thought, well, I can't go back and not read. I need to move all this stuff to a different room. So I thought, well, if I turn everything round the other way, it might just save me bacon a bit. So
the problem we got is we keep adding. We need to we get everything fitted perfectly. We get all our systems laid out in a nice sort of setup below our TVs, and then we add more games and need to shuffle them around and then run out of room, or we get even more wires underneath our TV, and we've already run out of places to put systems and minis and stuff like that.
The very first thing that Claire said to me when I put all this together was, "Do you realise what you've done?" I said, "What?" She goes, "Left yourself absolutely no room for new games." Because at the time when I put it together, and we just found out that it's about just over 4 years since I put all this stuff in here. There was the Amiga stuff was in here, the Commodore 64 stuff was on here, retro stuff was on here. The Wii pile was so small it was barely, recognisable in here. Everything sort of fitted on that one side of the room, and there was practically where I'd put my sort of light guns on the shelf, DVDs below it. That was the only space I got left. That was it. So I had to build another shelf on the other side of the room, which you don't see. So when you say custom built, Nate, what exactly have you sort of been thinking of and putting together?
I mean, if you go out and buy, everyone prefers to go for Kallax and things like that, and the kind of like bully bookcases and things like that, but nothing really kind of fits perfectly on it. So I've actually just gone out the wood and just put up custom shelves and everything myself. So I just measured wood for like the length of the room, bought pine board, put up brackets and like put it in from there. Although the brackets drive me a bit spare because they kind of get in the way of the shelves and things like that. But yeah, I've just got like complete room length shelves now. I've got 4 lovely full room length shelves, and I'm thinking about putting some more up. So it'll be quite claustrophobic in that sense. But
have you got room for expansion?
Looking round in anticipation of that, really.
I was going to say, he calls it a cupboard.
I was going to say,
How much room is there in a cupboard?
Less room than in a pantry.
It's more like a TARDIS, to be fair. But
I'm slightly blessed that my living room is where I have everything, so I've got a bit of room to play with, and I have tried to future-proof to the best of my ability. But in a year's time, I will need a third one of these side units if I collect at the rate I want to. But it's adding things below the TV as well. It's just like another thing I added today so that I can stream Dreamcast. It's another little box with about 4 wires, and the TV below it, and beside it's just a mess of black cables, And I've got something else.
It's a nightmare.
I've actually managed to get a PC Engine Mini, and that's coming tomorrow.
How have you?
Just another thing. Yeah, interesting little story. Obviously, I don't have the money to buy one right now, but I'm owed a present for my birthday because I didn't want anything back then around. So I had that in mind, and just for some reason, I would just thought, we'll go on Amazon. It's exclusive to Amazon. I'll see if there are any PC, Engine Minis available. And of course, there wasn't. So I thought, do you know what? I'll just put it on the wish list and favourite. And if it comes back into stock some day in the future, when I'm back at work or whatever, might be able to pick one up. And literally about 6 hours later, little notification on my phone. Oh, what's that? Look down. It's like, this item has come back into stock. And I was like, you're kidding me. So like within that, I made a phone call to to relatives that owed. And I said, look, here's the link. This is what I want. You're going to need to be quick. And I said, all right, we'll try our best. And bless them. They were straight on it. And apparently when they went to order it, it was down to, there's only one left in stock. And then we had that sort of nervous little wait for about 5 minutes for the confirmation email to come through, and it eventually did. I mean, I tried sharing it out to a couple of WhatsApp groups to people that I know were looking for it as well. And I think the Nameless Gamer wanted one, and he was just like, no, I've tried, it said one available, and it was gone. I was like, yep, that was me. But, I was hoping there'd be more than one. Well, there was when I initially sent it through, but when my relatives saw it, they were like, when we got to it, there was only one left. We think we've got it. And they did. So, yeah, it's coming here. I thought it was coming here today, but I mistook it for my little bit of lead that lets me stream on Dreamcast. And
no.
I thought, well, 3 items are all coming together, but turns out 2 items came today in the same box, and that's coming separately tomorrow. So, but I can't wait to get my hands on it because when I ordered it, I didn't really look at the back of the box and what games it's got on it. It's got an insane amount of games on it and an insane amount of quality games, and I really cannot wait to get stuck into it.
It's got the biggest collection on the mini consoles of games. Yeah. But, so when's that then? Because I checked yesterday, because I just seen it come back in stock and what price it was selling at, and they hadn't got any again.
It was about 10 minutes from the moment I saw it and that notification come through. 10 minutes later, it was out of stock. So either they just sold that really, really quickly, or they didn't actually have that many for some reason. I don't know, 20 came back in the stock or something, and that's why it was 10 minutes or whatever.
Good grief!
See, I saw the day before that you put that up. Actually, they had one come in, but it was one from Amazon warehouse, and they said it had some damage to the box or something. I was like,
yeah, you got to
go with that.
There was nothing like that because
this one came in the day before.
To be honest, if it was damage to the box, I'd have been all right with that. But yeah, no, yeah, there's nothing listed like that. By all means, it's new and unused and perfect. So and it's perfect for me as well because I've got no PC Engine Mini or no PC Engine experience at all.
Yeah, so
But
me.
because you guys all talk about it, I rattle off a list of names about 20 long about all who rave about it. It's kind of influencing me into thinking, do you know what? As a gamer, I really should experience this, and this is the cheap option. And to me, this is what minis are all about. Primarily is for people who haven't got the console and want to experience a large amount of it. It's ideal for them.
Yeah,
So it's ideal for me to give this thing a bash or give the PC Engine a bash without spending. I mean, the consoles go for a lot of money, and some of the games go for
exactly
even more money. So it's perfect for us.
I'm going to fly in the face of adversity and say I don't really want the mini. I want to get the original one and just ever drive it.
Well,
so if you're going to get the original one, then you don't need the mini. But at the same time, I'm not saying if you haven't got the mini, if you've got the PC Engine, then don't buy the mini because at the end of the day, it's still a collectible as well. There are people that collect the minis, so go for it. But it's perfect if you haven't got one.
I would still want one, but it's got to be sort of the right price for it. That's why I got the mini because I thought, well, the chance of me having said them, Rob, a decent collection because some of the games are so expensive on it was going to be pretty remote anyway. So I'd like one to have. But I just have that to sort of, just keep as a display. I'd use the mini to play games on it because I don't think I'd ever get anywhere near getting decent sizable collection for it.
You're not going to get a PC Engine for 10p, by the way.
You will.
It's just not going to appear.
Looking in the
it's
right
not going to
places.
appear in that bucket. You know that.
It will. It will. I keep moving the buckets. I'm seen buckets for ages.
So if I get on with it one day in the future, I might go the PC Engine route because I hear so much about it and it's never a bad thing. So,
how many games does it have? I'm interested.
It's something because it's got. Hang on a minute. Brings up phone.
Didn't I ask this question the other day?
It's got 2 systems worth on it, isn't it? Because it's got PC Engine games and TurboGrafx games on it as well.
Yeah.
And I think the TurboGrafx, it's got more PC Engine games on it, which is about 30 something. And then the TurboGrafx games, I want to say around about 20.
I think there's 56 or 57 games.
Yeah, I'm trying to bring up the list as quick as I can. Sorry.
We'll just fill in what was. Yeah, I think it's got about
32 PC Engine games. Is what I'm seeing here.
Run 10 talks.
20. Oh, dear, I've miscounted. Damn it. 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 16,
taking
18.
shoes and socks off as we speak.
25 TurboGrafx games.
57 then.
So yes, that's a fair old chunk.
Yeah, because I think the Mega Drive Mini had 42 on it. That was the biggest one to date. The Neo Geo Mini had, I think, 40. The NES only had 30. The SNES only had 21.
And the PS1 we don't talk about.
The PS1 had 50, but yeah, we don't talk about that one. Yeah. Was it 50? Was it 50? Was it 30?
I didn't think it was a lot. I thought
it was like
20.
I didn't think it was very many at all. I know you can just put loads on with an SD, but
yeah, we won't talk about that anyway. It doesn't really count.
That's the best thing about mini systems, isn't it? Just putting a load of games on them.
Do you know what? I talking about mini, I've completely forgotten they brought the PlayStation Classic out. I've completely forgotten that one.
I think most people have.
Yeah.
I thought I haven't done too bad.
Or try.
I thought I haven't done too bad. I got the PC Engine Mini, I got the Mega Drive Mini, I've got the NES Mini. I'd like to get the SNES one, but the price of that is just bonkers at the moment. And then maybe the Neo Geo one, because I'm never again going to own a Neo Geo. But look at the games list on there; it doesn't really appeal to me. I've got the Metal Slug games on the Wii anyway.
You want to get the Neo Geo arcade stick because you can mod it and play 160 arcade games.
Yeah. So this is going to be my first mini, and the only other one that I've kind of always wanted at the moment, or wouldn't mind picking up if it sees the right price, is the SNES one. Just because I should have more SNES than I do, and I even have a Retron 5, and all I have is a Japanese version of F-Zero. So there is F-Zero is awesome. So it was. But yeah, it's one of those things that I will play a lot of if I get one. But then again, at the same time, now I say that I've got that, do I really need to? I can get the odd game and play it on that. Whereas the PC Engine, I literally have nothing to play a PC Engine game on. So the Mini will be awesome.
I think you'll be lucky to get a SNES Mini for under 120 quid at the moment. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Really?
Oh
Bit like
yeah,
a gold mine. Oh,
the prices the prices are absolute to the roof at the moment. I'm kicking myself to walk past one at 50 quid just before
we all
lockdown.
over again. You got a SNES Mini because when the SNES Mini came out, nobody wanted them because I remember the NES Mini sold out in like seconds.
Sold out in seconds. Yeah.
And they just never got any back in. So the scalpers selling them through CX, and CX was selling them for over 100 quid each. And then the SNES Mini came out in abundance. All the scalpers bought it and weren't getting their money back. They're selling them off cheap. I was thinking I wouldn't get a SNES Mini, but I actually picked up one quite easily. Yeah, it is a pretty decent console, although I don't like the weird flap at the front. That's a bit strange.
I was in a branch of CX this week. Loose SNES Mini was £100. Boxed one was 120. And I missed out on one at 50 quid just before lockdown, so more fool me.
You know the PC Engine Mini
Yes.
on CX. I just had a quick look while we were talking here. By the way, the price I paid posted was £81. Well, sorry, I paid. I wish I didn't have the money, but the price my relatives paid was £81.27. Yeah, CX will give you £81 cash for it, £93 voucher, and they sell it for £125.
Good grief!
And that is boxed as well. That's what they'll give you for a boxed one.
But we alluded to this last week. That is a sort of console because it's only been sold exclusively through Amazon. That is going to be very, very hard if you don't pick one up when they get them in stock to get elsewhere. Yes, we'll have second-hand copies on Amazon. Yes, you'll have second-hand copies on eBay, and and sort of consoles make their way through the CEX. But generally speaking, it's going to be one of those things that will just probably skyrocket.
You're making me want one. Stop talking about it. I want the original.
Join us.
Yeah.
No, I want the original.
Join
over
us.
Here, the PC Engine Mini corner over here. Oh dear, my powers of persuasion. We'll have him done next week, Rob. He'll have caved in and bought one by then. Probably 3, I expect. But there we go.
I'll sell some amiibos and buy some.
Yeah, you and your amiibos. Again, if you haven't seen Nate's video and his adventures with the Wii U Animal Crossing Amiibo Festival amiibos, when somebody's onto a good thing.
Such a good thing. He makes 3 trips instead of 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised the bloke did not twig what was going on for the third when you called him for the 3rd time.
It's like, hang on a minute.
Yeah, hang on. Why does this bloke keep coming back and buying these? It must be worth something, surely. I mean,
To be honest, the 3rd trip, I was just like a little bit embarrassed. I was like, I'm not going to buy them all. Or he's going to say no, but I'm like, I've got to try it.
But I mean, just for those who hadn't seen the video, just give us a brief overlay on that, mate. Because I thought it was. Well, yeah, you can't look a gift horse in the mouth like that when it comes along. It was such a good opportunity to do it.
So, yeah, it was a case of I saw on Facebook Marketplace someone was selling the the Amiibo Festival Wii U set that came out on the Wii U with 2 amiibos in, and the Amiibo Festival game, which is absolutely rubbish, and CX on its own sell the game for like £1.50 or something, I think.
Yeah,
but
they do.
Because Animal Crossing came out on the Switch, they decided to capitalise on everything Animal Crossing, so they just put the prices through the roof. And I had somebody who I found was selling the Amiibo sets for £3 each. CX took them in for £13 each credit. So I just bought a shed load of them.
You bought them all, didn't you?
Yeah.
How many did you buy?
I think it was about 20.
20.
Yeah. I still got a couple left. They put the price down now, unfortunately. But eBay's still good.
Yeah, they've cotton on this hotspot. It's like COVID, isn't it? They get hotspot COVID areas breaking out. CX are sort of monitoring areas where they're getting hotspots of things being sort of traded in. And obviously, like your part of the world was flashing up Amiibo Festival.
They normally question it if you bring more than 2 in, but I took one store and I took 4 in. They're like, yeah, that's fine. It's like nobody said a dicky bird. Nobody's like, so how can you have so many of these? It's like, Nobody's just edit anything.
But they can't question things like that, because I went into one on this week, and there's a game on the Wii called, I think it's Richard Ledbetter's Golf.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
Sounds right up your street.
cracking game, but it was
50p.
quite rare ages ago. They got about this one I think, can't remember which one it was now, but they got 20 copies of this game on the shelf. Do you know what they were charging each? £32 each.
And they had how many?
Yeah, I did that.
About 20 copies, but £32 each. It came out right at the end of the Wii's run. I know we keep getting the odd titles dropped in, but it was one of the very last sort of releases. It was very, very limited. It has been more expensive than that in the past. But that's not the first time I've seen them do that in CEX. I've seen them. I've said this to Eddie before. There was a game called Calling on the Wii.
Yes.
And another CX I went into, I must have had like 25 copies on the shelf, and they were all at £40 each.
And Black Ops 2 on the 360. My local CX has an absolute wedge of them, and they're still giving you £10 credit for it. During lockdown, it was 13. You go in there, and they've got 25 on the shelf. It's literally every other 360 game they've got is all like 1 and 2 copies all next to each other, and then it's just a wedge of Black Ops 2. And it's just like, but obviously, as a business, they must know what they're doing. Otherwise, they wouldn't offer it.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless they're buying those games at £1 each or something and sticking them on the shelves at some stupid price to give you the impression it's for something, I don't know. But, nefarious practices like that of people dropping in and trading all these amiibo sets, it ain't going to sort of twig if they're doing sort of things like that.
I mean, it's just being sensible, really, and know what the market is. I mean, the Wii's went through the roof. If you could buy a Wii over lockdown, beforehand, they were selling for like £20 each or something to see. And then on lockdown, they were selling to like £90. And if you get a Wii and CX on lockdown, you're sorted. Just sell off all your Wii's then.
Most people did, apart from those people who collect them.
Yeah.
Kept all their stuff and seen that boat sail long off into the future distance. We should never see it again. I know you've been out again, Rob, on a couple of shopping trips.
Little games hunts.
Yeah. How are you finding it out there? Because you sort of, I think you're the first one to sort of mention of it on your channel. We mentioned it last week that you'd been out. How's it been this week?
Yeah, it's been all right. I was going to say it's nice to be out again as such, and have the option to do that, and the fact things are a bit more relaxed and people are being more cautious, and obviously as of recording dates, everyone now has to wear masks in shops. It was good. I say it was good to be out again and have a little bit of success. Nothing that sort of blew the world away in my finds, but I went to 2 large charity shops. I call them the soup store charity shops because they are that big, they are that size. One had nothing, and then I went into the second one, left with 9 items, and for £4, I doubled my money in trade credit, got myself a CD and a DVD, which I've got to keep, added 1 game to the collection, and gifted 1 game to a fellow tuber. So enjoy your copy of Need for Speed Most Wanted on the PS2 Retro Red Steve, which hopefully should be with you sometime next week.
Steve's had it, has he?
Yeah. I thought, good old Sean, Santa Sean always gets first dibs on any PS2 games that I do pick up, probably does from all of us, but he already had it. So Steve contacted me and I said, as long as Sean doesn't want it, I've already spoke to him, you can have it. So Sean had it. It's Underground that he's missing. The only Need for Speed game he's missing. So I was like, all right, cool, no worries. It's got a home. So yeah,
I did watch your video after that, and I realised I ain't got it either. But I thought, well,
too late.
I'll find it somewhere else. I'll get enough stuff sent to me as it is anyway. How are you finding sort of stock levels, or stock levels put the right way to put it, but sort of availability of games sort of going into, mentioned before, charity shops and things like that. That's where you sort of spend a fair bit of time between there and CEX. So how are you sort of finding charity shops?
Yeah, well, I did 2 separate little days, didn't I? And just literally did sort of 2 very short, off-the-cuff videos on those days, and they've done surprisingly well, actually. And the first day I went out to, there was the place that I was going to. I knew pretty much only had one charity shop open, and I went in there, and like we have it. And in the video, actually, you'll see me walk right up to the end of the shop and then loop down and round. And the reason why I'm doing that is because there's one guy in front of the games just there, turning away with 2 PlayStation 2 games in his hand. I was like, bugger. If there was anything good there, I've just missed it, and it was those 2 games. I could only see one of the 2 games, and it was GTA Vice City, which was like only got a quid trade-in, so it wasn't really worth it. You know,
God, that's
for
quite a bit,
50p doubling your money. Yeah, that's on the PS2 though.
Yeah,
So
but you were guaranteed sort of 2 or 3 quid at that one point, but not loads of pounds, surely.
yeah, you know, because I'd missed out, and I was like, right, what have I missed out on? Oh, okay, but you know, it's like only I think it was like a £4 or £5 game. So if you were going to buy it to keep, then it was worth 50p. So maybe he wanted it for his collection. Unfortunately, I couldn't see what the other game was, so looked at the shelf. But yeah, in answer to your question, there was actually a lot on the shelf, but sadly, it was your usual FIFA graveyard. Your PS2 common titles, like a couple of SingStars in it. And the one thing that I forgot to record in the video is on the bottom shelf, there was just like a huge wedge in the bottom right hand corner of Wii Fits, like about 12 of them, with one other random, you know, very common Wii game sort of in the middle saying, "Help me, I'm surrounded," you know. But but with that knowledge of that charity shop being open, the 2 big ones, one of the big charity shops there, which I go to regularly and turns up quite a bit, was the same brand as the one that I'd been to 2 or 3 days before. So I thought, well, if they're open, then they're going to be open. And so I went in that first one, and there was nothing, just DVDs galore. But then again, they generally literally have nothing or everything. They're one of them. And I went into the other one, and there was so much there, just all scattered around. I love it when it's like that. Like that charity shop that I went to, which was in a town called Stortford. They were just all on one shelf, all nicely put together. You know, I went into this one, and if you watch the video, you'll see me scan some shelves, and there's 2 in the shelf, not even next to each other, and then there's a chunk on that shelf. They're all next to each other, and then you go into another shelf, and there's just one sideways at the top. I love it when it's like that because it's a proper search. And it was just nice that they actually had a decent amount in.
Yeah.
You know, because my theory was that if these charity shops have been shut for ages and people are still somehow getting donations to them, then there's a good chance that they might have a nice, reasonable amount in. And for 2 of the 3 that I went into, I was right.
I've seen. I mean, I'll get to what I've been doing this week, but just because you mentioned it there, the amount of charity shops I've seen this week where they're actually saying no more donations.
Yeah,
they've been absolutely flooded with them. So it's amazing.
I think let's get his mention in. I'd heard a story from Big Game Al where he said he walked past one of his charity shops.
I've never heard of him.
he walked past one of his charity shops when they were all still closed, and he said that people, because they were closed and they couldn't donate, they were actually posting things through the letterbox that fit. And he said, God knows how they're going to get the door open, because apparently it just mounded. So
yeah. I've seen stuff been piled up outside. Despite them saying don't put stuff outside because they don't know where it's come from, they can't track it, and people are just piling stuff outside charity shops, even though they've got signs on when they're saying no more donations. I mean, it comes to something when they're turning people and stock away because they've got too much at the moment.
The local one in my town actually has sort of, I say the fortunate, but also misfortune in the fact that people are doing what you say. They have this like undercover section, you know, by their doorway, and people just think, oh, that's very convenient, I'll just dump a load of stuff there. And just big bags of stuff, and they dump it outside the front door. And there's even signs saying in the window, you know, please do not put stuff here. Technically it's fly tipping, and also things get stolen.
That's right.
So do not do this, you know, wait till we're open. I don't understand why people just don't wait till they're open.
Well, if you go at the right time, it's quiet and no one's looking, you can have a field day with it, to be honest with you.
I appreciate that people, you know, might be working during the week, but surely, you know, you have a weekend off every now and again, and they're open by... A lot of charity shops are open 7 days a week. Certainly the ones are around by me, but limited hours on a Sunday. So, you know, you can find time.
Have you been out at all, Nath, anywhere?
So I've only really been out to the boot sales. I have actually been in a couple of charity shops, actually. A couple have opened my way down, you mentioned it. But yeah, it's very hit and miss. I think you mentioned it, that kind of charity shops, some are open, some are not. And it's a real shame because the ones that are open haven't really had anything in. I mean, I've had a look and found some DVDs that are quite interesting, but not really much of anything else. And if they're not taking donations from people, and understandably so, it's going to limit the stuff that they get in for the charities that they want, and also for the collectors like us who use them for collecting. We're not going to find very much either.
I'm just wondering where they're going to go, because if they don't take them to charity shops, or they do take them to charity shops and say they don't want them, why would they go there first?
Well, I think this is. I mean, either people then are doing yard sales, or I have seen some kind of like posts. I mean, like I did get a load of 360 games for a ridiculous price.
Well, no, actually, technically, you didn't, did you? Because it was your wife who picked those games up for you.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's plug it, but if people are going to try and get rid of stuff, they're either going to get rid of it through either doing it like a yard sale or putting it on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
It'll be flooded with stuff, or again going to car boot sales, the charity shops don't open. But it's going to be the same for the charities, because at least they'll make money if people accept things in. But see what you mean? It's technically fly tipping if they leave it there. Charity shops aren't open if generally a lot of them are run by volunteers, and some of them are elderly who are high risk and things like that. It's going to make it quite difficult. But
it just makes me, because if you decide to take stuff to a charity shop rather than say CEX,
yeah,
where if the charity shop won't take them and they ain't going to take them to CEX, where are they going to go? The next place they're going to go is likely
dump
down the skip.
The dump. Yep.
The dump. That's what worries me. How much stuff is getting sort of thrown out and sort of now discarded because places won't take it. I'm not saying it's happening on a Vasco. I'm not saying we're seeing buckets and buckets and buckets of valuable games being chucked away, but
you'd love to bucket of tips.
Yeah. Don't chuck them.
It's a bucket of tips. I'll try to find games into.
I should just try a new measuring device. But bags and bags of games being thrown away because it's easier to do that if the charity shop won't take them. I'll just put them in the bin. I'm hoping that's not happening.
Jane did a thing of throwing away manuals, which drove everybody mad a while ago. Like, just
everybody,
the amount of people who were just up in arms about that, being like, "What are you doing?" So if it is meaning that things are going to landfill, that's just
I mean,
on the environmental stuff.
But I mean, the cases, the manuals are in there and things like that. Even the inlay covers. You do sometimes get an inlay cover which is far from decent condition. If good stuff is being chucked down the tip or being got rid of into the landfill, because charity shops can't take them. And CEX will, a lot of stuff you get from there is a lot of these sort of games are pretty worthless to them anyway.
Most charity shops chuck them as well if they can't sell them. I went to a charity shop and they said they were just going to throw stuff in the bin because nobody wanted it. They had stuff like listed for like 10p each CDs and that, and nobody wanted it.
They even asked me. They even asked me first, and I've got half the stuff they've got. So
yeah.
That's been my problem this week. I've been out because I've been off work now. I've had 3 different trips out this week with absolute dip results. And I'm not saying there isn't stuff out there. There are games. I mean, pretty much every single shop that I sort of frequent was open. There was only a couple which were still. I think some of them are sort of opening next week, but basically most of the charity shops are open. The X-Cash Converters, etc. So, now I went out before the face coverings. We're not correctly calling it a law, aren't we? Because it is a law.
It is now.
Law, yeah.
As of today. Yeah.
As of today. So I went out twice this week before that came into effect. Although I was wearing a face mask anyway. My health, it's people insist on me wearing a face mask when I go out. So it's obviously scaring small children and small animals. So, but I was absolutely petrified to touch stuff. I don't know why. Strange.
Yeah, it gets you like that. I mean, I carry my own little bottle of hand sanitizer in my pocket.
But I would every single. I mean, I have to say, if anybody who works in a charity organisation, charity shop, I would have to say that you guys have got everything bang on. Every single charity shop I went to, there was some hand sanitizer station at the front. Everything was laid out on the floor. It was much better than regular shops who weren't doing things like that. first of all, hats off to you guys because you've done everything correct. But even hand sanitising every shop I went into and out and whatever, I was still absolutely scared stiff of just sort of manhandling stuff like check stuff inside. You like to do that, and I've done that today. Now today, obviously the law had changed. I've got the face covering on, and I came up with a new sort of plan. I thought, well, all the charity shops. Again, I went in 7 charity shops today. Every single one of them have got hand sanitizer. I went into CX and cash converters. They ain't got anything like that in at all. But staff were cleaning everything. They get the new stuff. They were coming in. They were spraying it, cleaning it. They were doing their bit. But I was wearing plastic gloves in those 2 shops because I felt a bit more comfortable. I can touch things in there. And then when I come out, they're going to take the gloves off, chuck them in the bin. But I still felt very, very strange. And due to that, I bought a game today, which I've got a severe doubt whether it's going to actually work or not because I'm scratching on the disc. And I'll be very, very annoyed because I know that a couple of people have sort of mentioned this quite regularly. If I was mentioned on the Xbox 360, I picked today a copy of Catherine.
Oh, right.
Ooh.
Which I picked up last week as well.
Because people keep talking about it. Another game with a dubious cover for my collection.
2 dubious covers. It's reversed.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realise that. Yeah, I'm trying to work out.
One.
Yeah. I paid £2 for it today. It's not It's not the greatest copy in the world. I must be honest with you, but because again, I would never have thought twice about not checking the disc. I'd have done that without hesitation, but I didn't today. Yeah. And I sort of got it home, and I'm sort of looking at it and thinking, well, that may or may not work now. I only paid £2 for it. It's the biggest sort of crime in the world if it doesn't work. But under normal circumstances, I wouldn't have picked that game up.
Checked it.
I'd have checked it and gone, oh, do you know what? Even for £2, that might not work.
Well, on my first day, I kind of had a similar story to you because I know I said that in that first charity shop I went to on the first day that I went out, and that guy beat me to probably a couple of good games, and it was just a sea of FIFAs and all that sort of stuff. However, obviously, going for the full 360 set, I am still missing some of those FIFAs, and there was a copy of, I think the World Cup was in Africa. I forget the
2010.
year. 2010, World Cup Africa game, and I picked it up. I looked at it, and
sorry. Was it 2010?
Who cares? Africa World Cup. And anyway, it was a mint copy of the game. I opened it up. The manual's in there. It was fresh and everything. It was probably an unwanted present for all I know. But I didn't have it, and they're 50p each. And I thought to myself, well, yeah, we'll get that off the list. And then it suddenly dawned on me, obviously, with all this that's going on at the moment, everything's contactless. And I only want to buy one 50p game, and I know that shop has a minimum card spend of £2. So I would have to go across the road, get some money out, which means touching a cash point, which a lot of people have touched because there's no way of using that contactless. For all in the sake of going back and getting this 50p FIFA game, and I was just like, it's just unnecessary handling as well. It's for me, it's unnecessary handling, and then I'm going to be touching stuff, and that cashier is then going to be touching what I've touched. It's just all unnecessary handling for a game that's 50p and will turn up again, no doubt. So I had that sort of same thing. But, in the past, I'd have gone, do you know what's a good copy of the game? You sod it. Let's just pick it up now and gone to all that trouble. So, yeah.
What year was that again?
What, the World Cup in Africa?
That's 2010 was South Africa. 2014 was Brazil.
Yeah, because I've got the Brazilian World Cup, so I knew that one.
The South Africa one, yeah.
So, yeah.
Is that the one with all the wasps?
Yes, those, yeah.
Yeah.
The year that everybody learnt what a vuvuzela was.
Which you could replicate at home by blowing through a section of drain pipe.
Yeah.
if you had such things lying around. Bought one especially, like some people I know.
Sounds like
names. Yeah.
sounds like a life experience.
Could be, yes. Yeah, I don't know. And also the whole face masking thing. I mean, today, which was Friday, the 24th, I've been off work for a week, I can't remember what the bleed day is, 24th of July. It was a fairly mild old day. Now, the other thing I didn't particularly care for at all was wearing the face mask while walking around in sort of weather like this. It's not the most comfortable thing to wear in the world. And I'm just wondering, it certainly sort of put me off to get think about, well, I shan't go out again unless it's a bit sort of cooler and something like that. And I know other people that same sort of thing, really.
Yeah, I mean,
It's you can get in the habit of sort of peeling it off and just sort of taking a few gulps of fresh air and putting it back on. But once you do that, you're doing it every couple of minutes because you've got used to it. Especially days I went on by train. So you're wearing your face back at the train station, on the train. I had to wait for another train, so I'm doing that. Then on that train, I had to walk through a bus station, and then onto the high street. You don't take it off at all. And it must have been, I'd say, probably an hour and a half on my face all the time, and it was just too much. It was just too. By the time I got back to the car, I was like, "Thank God, just take that off."
Yeah, so you don't have to wear it outdoors. You only have to wear it compulsory to wear it in shop. I know it doesn't actually in a train station. It is everywhere in a train station. But yeah, when I went out, because I decided to get the train rather than get the car, because it's actually easier and cheaper to not pay for parking. And I went out, and I must admit, I hated being on the train. Yeah, it does get you very paranoid. But in between shops, I find just taking it off quickly and then putting it back on again when you go in a shop.
Depends how far the shops are apart, because where I go, they're quite sort of concentrated together, and you can see people sort of they take them, but of course you're not meant to touch the front of the face mask, and you can people sort of taking them off and waving them around or holding them in their hands and then putting them on before they go back into the shop. The idea is don't touch the face mask when it's on. Don't touch any part of your face. Okay, you can peel it from behind your ear and just drop it down a little bit, as long as you don't touch the front of it. I don't know. It's
yeah.
There's so many things to remember. Shopping has become complicated.
Hoping it will return to what it was, but I get the feeling it's not going to be the same. And it's a crazy situation we're dealing with at the moment, because you kind of want to go back to normal, but you can't. And even if you try to, like, there's people out there freaking out. You go from one extreme to the other. You get the people who are just a bit blasé about it. You get the people who, if you sneeze, run for the hills, and really much in between, I don't think.
I daren't cough for somebody turning around and give me a kicking. I'm going to be honest with you. They've even got a mask on. You don't want to do that. I mean, just to finish on the whole subject, the shopping things, we do talk about it quite a bit, but if you partake in game hunting and like we guys do, then this is sort of stuff which is quite relevant to it. I went into one charity shop today, and there was a gentleman in there who got his face mask on, and he just took it off, sort of pulled it off his face and sort of over his chin and onto his neck, and he started walking around. There was a lady who was obviously one of the staff in the charity shop, and she actually gave him a right rollicking about it, and he was so apologetic for it. He really was. He was quite embarrassed by it, and I thought, well, good on you, because again, that's a whole sort of thing. We've got to do this. It's the law now. I mean, you can't expect shop staff to enforce this. It's going to be quite difficult to do so. But she said the right thing to him, and he was, seemed to be embarrassed by what he'd done, and immediately apologised and put it back on again, which I thought was great.
Yeah, the more we sort of all stick together and get on with it,
exactly.
Then it may seem like forever away, but the more we do it, the sooner the forever away becomes. So
that's right.
It's got to all be one big team as a country,
But I think that my experiences this week has made me sort of realise that it's going to be, it's something I need to start doing and trying to get back and sort of a routine and do. But it's not something I'm going to sort of rush into a great deal, and it might be a while before I think about going out again. Which is probably a good point to finish, really.
First, Bear's not going outside.
That's it. Yeah. I mean, there's enough melon farming bears on a melon farming train, according to that picture I posted today. Anyway.
What?
That life was. Did you not see that photograph I posted of me wearing that mask and saying "bear on the train"?
Oh yeah, we were thinking about refilming like a new sequel, Bears on a Train. Like Bears on a Train.
There's that line in the film, isn't there, Snakes on the Plane, where Samuel L. Jackson said, "Can somebody get the MFing snakes off the MFing plane?" So there's probably like to be very, very little chance of the MFing bear going on the MFing train going game hunting again.
Oh, right. That's what you meant by melon farming. Right.
Yes,
Got you.
yes, sorry.
No jokes.
Yeah. That'll be the last time you're hearing from me on this podcast anyway. I'm resigning my commission as we speak. And I'll be sure there'll be howls of cheering up and down the country as I do that anyway. Yeah, so I think that covers a few topics at the moment, just where we're going on. And I'd like to thank the guys for participating in that. And hopefully this is something which is close to your hearts as well when you're listening to this and thinking same experiences. Don't let it put you off from going out there. My experience is different to Rob's experience, which is different to Nate's experience, which may be different to your experience. It's just how comfortable you feel doing it. But today was a bit of an eye opener, really, and it made me sort of realise I'm not really missing a lot as well. There isn't any. I'm not sitting at home thinking about I'm missing all these great bargains. But actually, when I've been out 3 times this week and I've been to a number of shops, picked up so little. And I'm not saying there ain't games out there. There are games out there, but I've got most of them. Left the cheap rubbish that I buy. So there are games there, but it's just not stuff that's I'm going to be picking up. So we'd love to know what you think about it anyway. If you've got the same experience, if you tried it yourself, or if you are planning on going out and doing a game hunting. No, guys, I think that's a great point to finish for this particular episode number 18. I would like to thank you very much indeed for giving up your time this week and participating in that. First of all, Rob, Gurnaldinho Plays, thank you very much indeed for being here once again, my friend.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bear. Take care.
No problem at all. NathRetro1, thank you for being here as well.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bear, and take care.
Will do. And on behalf of myself, the Retro Bear from the Gaming Pantry and the tNb Gaming Podcast, thanks very much indeed for tuning in. We will see you again very, very, very soon. But until then, do take care and bye for now.